Heard the exciting news the other day that Scottie Pippen's going to be joining the Bulls organization. We're excited to have him back on the team. As part of the media team, we decided to go through and really dig in and create this plan that we're about to present. We feel like it's a really efficient and effective way to get Scottie's name out there, make sure that we're hitting on all the key objectives and the goal that we want to hit. And we're just going to walk you through what plan we do have in place. So to go over really quick, we will first mention what our overall goal, objectives, strategies, and tactics are for the plan to introduce Scottie as the next head coach of the Chicago Bulls. And then we're actually going to dive into the plan. So we identified a lot of key stakeholders within the organization that we feel like we should be hitting. And then we also are going to lay out just some key messages as well as go through an example of maybe some interview preparation that we had hand Scottie prior to the variety of interviews that he's going to be going through, and you're going to see those in the announcement timeline. And then finally, we're going to talk about how we'll measure the actual plan and figure out how it was effective and where we were successful. So to start out really quick, just to walk you through our goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. As you can see, the overall goal of our campaign here is to create unity between Scottie Pippen, Bulls management, and the Chicago fans. And really the reason why we set it up the way that we did was because we know that at the end of Scottie's career with the team, there was some rumors that he wasn't getting along well with management, and fans were kind of split 50-50 on whether he should have left or he should have stayed with the team. So just to make sure that we're reestablishing positive relationships across the board, we want to make that part of our goal. And so you can see then the objectives are broken out two different ways: to increase awareness of the new hire with the Chicago sports fan, and then also to increase Pippen's affinity within the city of Chicago. Both of these are going to happen within the first year, or at least that's how we had the plan set up. And then moving into the strategies, we've kind of broken it down into two different categories. The first category really being to create that positive publicity, creating that connection between Pippen, fans, and management. So really showing that Pippen, one, cares about the fans, and then two, Pippen and Bulls management, that you guys have a good relationship. And then we're also going to attend a lot of public events and connect with various stakeholders through those events as well. Biggest portion of those, just making sure that we're hitting the right people and we're building good relationships. So the tactics are kind of spread out, and we're going to talk about a few of those a little bit more in our actual timeline of the plan. But right now I'll pass it along to Sam. He's going to talk about the internal stakeholders.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. One thing we have really come to the conclusion of is the importance and how much of a critical role our stakeholders play in the success of our organization. And we really want to honor that and honor their commitment to the Bulls organization. Having said that, there's 7 stakeholders, as you can see, that we want to focus our communication plan around. With that, we want to take an inside-out approach and really focus on the relationship Scottie's going to have the biggest impact with. And that starts with the coaching staff and our players. We want to focus on building that connection as soon as we can to begin to build that relationship, that team unity, so we can continue to move forward for the following season. Next, we want to focus on the front office employees. They're a part of our team, and we want to realize and honor them and allow them to be in the know as we move forward. And from there, we're really going to rely on the media and their ability to spread this news through the Chicago radio, through ESPN, through the Chicago Tribune, and use all the media facets we can to communicate with fans, to communicate with our neighbors, with sponsors, and our Chicago Bulls charities. Along with that post-media release, we are going to focus on connecting at a deeper level with our stakeholders, whether that's having Scottie attend charity events or it is Scottie doing VIP meet and greets with sponsors. We truly want to be able to connect with these stakeholders who have given us so much financially and committed to our team in the long haul, and we want to honor that. Next, I would love to pass the floor along to Jen.
Thank you. Now I am going to speak more about getting Scottie ready for these interviews and some of the key messages that he'll be speaking about and that we are going to communicate as well to our employees. So Scottie Pippen is returning to the Bulls as the 20th head coach to the team that he played with us here for 11 years. His main goal is to bring another championship here to the city of Chicago, and he brings a lot of knowledge as a player, and not only as a former player of ours, but also as an assistant coach with the Celtics and the Golden State Warriors and Spurs within the past few years. He definitely wants to, work with the city of Chicago as well and be involved in Chicago Bulls charities here. And he's really looking forward to working with Bulls management and the young guys we currently have on the team right now. Before Scotty's officially introduced, we're going to make sure that he's prepared with several talking points, key messages, and make sure he's fully prepared for any other questions that may come his way from the media, not only regarding the Bulls and basketball, but maybe even questions regarding his personal opinion on things such as his record being passed up by LeBron recently. So our job here is to make sure, the key messages are communicated not only to him, but also to the employees of the organization as well regarding this exciting new hire. And now I'm going to pass it along to Mark.
So we plan to formally announce the hiring of Scottie Pippen as the 20th head coach in team history on Wednesday, May 16th, 2018. And the plan we've put in place is meant to be a comprehensive announcement that takes full advantage of all the Chicago Bulls communication channels. So just a quick overview of what we have planned and who will be involved in that timeline. On Tuesday, May 15th, John Paxson, the Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, will hold a meeting with players and basketball operations staff to inform them of the hiring of Scottie Pippen. So this way, everyone within our organization is informed of the news before the general public. And 20 minutes after that, a teaser announcement will be sent out by myself, the Vice President of Marketing and Communications, to all Chicago Bulls staff members, informing them of a major organizational announcement that will be made at 10 a.m. And at 10 a.m., our Manager of Public and Media Relations, Matt Fluge, will oversee the release of a teaser announcement that will be sent out to the public across all Chicago Bulls communications channels, informing everyone, again, of a major organizational announcement that will be taking place the next morning at 10 a.m. at the Advocate Center, which is the Bulls training facility. So on the morning of the press conference, 5 minutes before the press conference itself, we will distribute the release to all media members, informing them that today's announcement will be regarding the hiring of Scottie Pippen as the new head coach. And a similar press release will be crafted and sent out to all season ticket holders and sponsors at the same time. The press conference itself will include Scottie along with John Paxson and General Manager Gar Forman. The press conference will include formal statements from each individual along with a 20-minute Q&A session with media members in attendance. And we will mediate the press conference, and Senior Digital Content Manager Donna Forrester will ensure the press conference is also streamed live on the Chicago Bulls Facebook and Twitter accounts. Sam Starks, our Public and Media Relations Associate, will oversee this process. So just a couple more things that we have in the days following the press release itself and the news conference. Scottie Pippen at 12:30 p.m., so the same day, a couple hours after the news conference, they'll call into the Chicago sports talk radio shows, including ESPN 1000 and 670 The Score. And doing this allows him to connect with a big external stakeholder like the Chicago Sports Radio. And this is strategic for us because of the media's influence on the Chicago sports fan. Later that night at 6:30, Scottie Pippen, along with members of Bulls TV, will go to Wrigley Field to throw out the first pitch at the Cubs game and sing the seventh inning stretch. And this type of activity is pretty common for new Chicago sports coaching hires, and it allows the Bulls and Coach Pippen to connect with external stakeholders, including fans, neighbors, and community partners. The following day, on Thursday, May 17th, Scottie Pippen, along with a couple of players and members of the front office, will take part in a 2-hour community service project We're going to do this to strengthen the Bulls' relationship with another external stakeholder, such as our neighbors and community partners. And Matt Dlugy will be on site to manage any media members that are present. 7 p.m. that night, we will have a season ticket holder family fest at the United Center, and he'll be available for autographs and photographs for 60 minutes. And again, this allows Scotty to create goodwill with the most loyal of fans and also strengthen his connection with any key corporate partners that are also in attendance. Finally, Friday, May 18th, to wrap up the week, Scotty will appear on ESPN for an interview with the host of SportsCenter. This will be remote with all questions pre-screened by Matt and Dane. And an interview will allow Scotty to reach a more broader fan base than just Chicago Bulls, since SportsCenter is more national. And at 11 a.m., Scotty will have a sit-down interview with Chicago Magazine, which will focus more on him personally. The goal of this interview is to reach the general Chicago resident and showcase that Scotty is more than just a basketball coach. Throughout the season, we'll continue to identify opportunities for Coach Pippen to engage with key stakeholders. And while the easiest way to please the Bulls stakeholders is with on-court success, off-court relationships throughout the year and connections will continue to be fostered. And that's all I got for the timeline. And now we will move on to our plan measurement.
Okay, thank you, Mark. As said, we will now talk about the plan on how we will overall measure the success of our campaign and communications. There are 3 key ways to measuring the success of the campaign, and these include execution, media, and the impact evaluation. The execution evaluation will measure to what degree the communication plan was followed and the number of outputs that it generated. These include the number of news releases distributed and the number of media outlets receiving them, number of press conferences held, and the number of media members attending, as well as the number of campaign events held and the number of stakeholders that attend. Another form of evaluation we will use is the level of media placement and engagement. This is important to reach our target audience and make sure it is relative to them. These include understanding the placement rates, the impression, the amount of written space and airtime broadcasted, the value of that space and the airtime, and the content analysis. The placement rates are the rate at which the news releases were chosen and distributed to the media outlets. Impressions describe the total number of people. These include the readers, viewers, and listeners receiving the information due to the stories of the campaign in their mass media outlets. Circulation figures and broadcasting rates quantify the success of these impressions. Lastly, the content analysis were related to media coverage. Favorably reports include keywords that will pop up, such as Scottie Pippen, Chicago Bulls, and the new head coach, and Chicago's team. The highest order of the campaign evaluation is impact. This attempts to assess the effect of the campaign strategies to relate media coverage to the audience and stakeholders. The variables of this include awareness, knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors. Some of these are interrelated, but the ultimate effect is behavior change by our audience. The best way to assess the campaign's impact is to reflect upon the goals and our objectives specified in the plan and evaluate the degree to which they were met. One of our objectives is to increase Scottie Pippen's visibility in Chicago within the first year of being signed. And so, in support of this goal, it was important for Scottie to attend public events and meet key stakeholders. A post-campaign survey of the Chicago Bulls' internal stakeholders may measure the change and perception of the increased level of awareness with the association and the new coach. The survey, along with positive circulation figures and broadcasting rates from the interviews Pippen conducted and distributed on the Bulls' social media, may further offer strong evidence regarding the success of this campaign. Similar technique to measure knowledge or attitude towards Scottie may be through increase in placement rates and content analysis, which is posted online. A systematic analysis of attendees at stakeholder events or community events such as the annual season ticket holder Family Fest we will host and the autograph session at the Nike store on Michigan Avenue, satisfies our second objective of creating further visibility for Pippen in Chicago. Therefore, overall, through both systematic and media placements and engagement, these three areas can evaluate the overall success of the campaign and the communication plan, and also identify the areas that might need improving to further reach our target audience. Overall, we believe that the plan and campaign we have put together will be effective in achieving our goals and objectives when introducing Scotty to the stakeholders, Chicago sports fans, and to the owners. And we are excited to have him a part of our team.